Alright man, stop. I'm already gonna cry. 1997 was a goddamn banger for video game releases. Diablo, Final Fantasy VII, Mario Kart 64, Symphony of the Night, Fallout, Lego Island, fucking coolmathgames.com. You wanna know what came out in 2019? Dr. Mario World. Nothing else. So that's why I want to take you back to one of the greatest years in video gaming to talk about one of my personal all-time favorite games. What might that be, you ask? Let me answer that question with another question. What do you get when you cross Top Gun with the middle step of the Animorphs book covers? Answer: the greatest space opera since Star Wars and a rail shooter to conquer Pokemon Snap. I'm PapaSage, and this is Star Fox 64, or Lilac Wars if you're some kind of
Bell and wanker crumpet boy.
What's this about?
Quiet, bit boy. We'll ask the questions around here.
Do you have to talk into that thing?
Word on the street is you got a new Nintendo 64
Video.
coming out.
Could you be a little more specific? We got a lot of new
Videos.
coming out. Star Fox 64. Test pilot boy. You want to know about Star Fox 64, eh?
Yeah, and you'd better tell us all you know. Or else.
Or else what? Or else.
Subscribe button.
Here. Get. What are you guys doing with...
Subscribe button.
No! Leave
Subscribe button.
out of this.
Start talking.
Okay.
Star Fox 64 is a reboot of the first Star Fox game that was praised for its use of the Super FX chip that allowed the SNES to render 3D shapes. AKA, a big fucking deal. But after the sequel was completed, the SNES lifespan was already coming to an end. They decided that the new Super FX2 chip was too expensive to use, and they would rather just make a sequel on Nintendo 64, even though Star Fox 2 was already complete. And thus, Star Fox 64 was born, and my stupid little mashed potato brain would never be the same. It's a video game in the most traditional sense. See, Golden Age arcade video games were all based off of endless gameplay and high scores. They used flashy demos and colorful marquees to entice the player, and the difficulty kept them spending. However, when these games moved over to consoles, they had worse graphics, worse sound, and to top it all off, the players' high scores, the whole reason for these game designs, were no longer on a big flashing screen for every kid in town to see. So games had to focus on having an actual story with an actual ending. They began to ditch the endless loop for more complete, digestible experiences. But one relic of the arcade days remained. That's difficulty. Because home console games were a lot smaller than arcade games, they had to make them feel longer by making them really fucking difficult. But as games got larger and more narratively driven, and difficulties became more inclusive, suddenly video games were nothing like their Twitch Reflex arcade game cousins. However, Star Fox ain't afraid to do both. Arcade action that'll make you bite the inside of your cheek from retrying the fucking switches on Macbeth so many goddamn times, Jesus Christ. This level gives me hemorrhoids. But at the same time, you can just give the controller to my 2-year-old, and he's probably gonna coast through the game, even though he set the controller down to go stick his fist in the fish tank.
Whoa, hold on!
It's so short that you can play this game from start to finish in like an hour, but I have more hours clocked in this game than I do on the toilet. How does this happen? Well, let me tell you. While GoldenEye had difficulty levels that would change the objectives that you do in the game, Star Fox has objectives in the game that change what difficulty level you're on. But it's more than just enemies adjusting their damage on the fly to make the game feel harder. The difficulties take you on alternate paths from one side of the solar system to another, and it makes the game feel like every time you play, you're on this new adventure. And that's a feeling that some open world games struggle to accomplish, and rail shooters are literally the most linear genre that exists in gaming. Some are kind of obscure, like if you keep Falco alive in Corneria and fly through all of the ocean rings, he'll take you on an alternate path through the level that sets you off on the harder route. Or a little more obvious, such as if you take too long on the Sector X boss fight, he just slaps the shit out of Slippy, sending him into orbit to some like desert planet where you have to save him from an ancient planetary defense system made out of the fossils of like a giant beast. This game is wild. It's a game that looks so shallow at first glance, but in typical Nintendo fashion, the longer you play, the more you realize how just nuanced it is. It's design choices like this that make the game so very replayable. Replayable doesn't even begin to describe this game. While writing the script, I picked it up again, took a different route, beat a boss I've never beat before, and all on my last life, I actually threw my hands in the air and like screamed, shaking my fists with joy. It's the first time I've done that in a really long game, and honestly, I really needed it. Until I got dogpiled by Starwolf because my team was wiped out and I had nobody to fucking help me. Jesus Christ. And while we're on Starwolf, can we talk about these guys for a second? No matter how overused it is, I'm such a big fan of that like weird trope where writers like to make darker parallels of the main character, like Proto Man or Dark Link, or that episode of the Powerpuff Girls with the Rowdy Rough Boys. So of course, Star Fox needs an enemy team, and that would be Starwolf. Both mercenary teams with opposing employers, fighting in dogfights throughout the solar system. That is a badass dynamic. I wish everything was this dramatic. Can you imagine what YouTube beef would be like?
Can't let you do that, Starfuck.
Doplex has ordered us to take you down.
Papa, long time no see.
Doplex's enemy is my enemy.
Just who I needed to see. More wannabe YouTubers. Sorry, guys. It goes without saying that the dialogue in this game is, stellar. I think it's easily one of the most quotable video games of all time, and so much of that is thanks to the late, great Rick May. The impression that he left on this game was so influential that to this day, you can type "do a barrel roll" into Google and your whole screen will spin around, even on mobile. And when you combine the replayability with the lovable characters and the simple to pick up but difficult to master gameplay, it's no wonder how Nintendo managed to create one of the greatest video games of all time. And so the game shipped out April 1997, bundled in with the Rumble Pack, making it the first console game with Rumble feedback. And after that, Rumble features became a staple in gaming that we take for granted today. It went on to sell 4 million copies, and no rail shooter has ever managed to top its charm and lovability ever since. Unless you count Typing of the Dead, but I love that game for a whole nother set of reasons. If you want to give this game a shot today, but you don't want to mess with emulators, I think the 3DS version is just fine. Might be a touch easier, but it's so much better than missing out on this absolute classic. I found Star Fox 64 3D at Walmart this weekend for $13 just in the clearance bin. Go play the game. If you made it this far in the video, please tell me if you have any great memories with this game, even if it's just a part of the story or if it's playing multiplayer with a family member. And thank you so much to Andrew Miller and Courtney Dean for helping me out so much with this video, transitioning to this new equipment and learning new editing software. They have been so valuable to the making of this. Subscribe to Andrew Miller. He's really fucking funny. I strongly suggest if anybody out there needs something edited and they want it done right, check out CourtneyEditor.com. Both of those things will be down in a pinned comment, and the boys that were in my Starwolf bit, they'll be in description too. Subscribe to all those dudes. I've got some new merch that I designed down there somewhere, and some videos on my channel that didn't get proper notifications out. So even if you think you've seen all my stuff, go check out my channel. I've got a music video called Fuck Truck, and I don't think YouTube is gonna push that for me, so go check that out. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the support I've gotten in the past year. My first video went up on my YouTube channel May of last year, and it's actually May as I'm recording this right now, and it's kind of nuts just how many new people I've met from all over the world, and I feel so loved, and it's great, man. Just thank all of you guys. I'll be on my Discord. Maybe we'll do some surprise streams every now and then. Just, I don't know. Hit me up if you need anything. I'll see you guys later.